At first view, it appears to be just another shed. It's large, spotless, and contains a few vintage vehicles. However, if you dig farther, you'll discover something wholly unexpected. Not only are the items that are concealed behind those gleaming doors incredible, but they are also unbelievable. Why didn't anyone see this? It provides a wealth of information about the real Rick Harrison. Before you see it, you won't believe that this is where he unwinds. Rick Harrison was already knee-deep in grease, oil, and gears when he appeared on the popular show Pawn Stars. The pawn shop business and Harrison's intense passion for vehicles were the two main focuses of his life. This was before to his rise to fame in Las Vegas and on reality TV. That love wasn't just something that happened. It started early. By the age of 13, he was already working at the family pawn store and his father's auto repossession company. It was more than a job. Harrison acknowledges that it was the beginning of his obsession to cars. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. And hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, back to the topic. What we were talking about was. It's also not a stretch. He has around 30 cars in his collection, ranging from rugged classics to odd one-of-a-kind vehicles. A 1940 Chevy Special Deluxe, a 1968 Mustang GT Fastback, and his first vehicle, a 1973 Volkswagen Thing, which he holds in the highest regard, are among his favorite automobiles. Regarding the VW, he states, basically, they're bulletproof. He also has two Harley-Davidsons, a 1947 Power Wagon, a 1973 Jeep, dirt bikes, a tractor, and a 1940 Indian Chief motorcycle with a sidecar in his garage. But Harrison doesn't want to brag. It has to do with the machine's enjoyment factor. That passion doesn't go away when the cameras stop rolling. He states it bluntly, I'm a car addict. I already have a lot of cars. Bringing another one home would cause trouble. After long days of shooting or working at the gold and silver pawn shop, he enjoys playing with his machines. He replies, I'm a real guy. I can't sit still. Because they're fast, they're badass, they're amazing. He has resisted the temptation to purchase a NASCAR vehicle, but he hasn't been far from the racetrack. Harrison was spotted driving fast during the Richard Petty incident at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He doesn't own a race vehicle, but he finds it amusing when he sees his face on Jeremy Clements' Nationwide during races in Las Vegas. It makes me look like an ass, but I love it, adds the man. Not all of his automobile rides have been enjoyable. Harrison claims that the 1969 Oldsmobile Delta 88, which he purchased for $150 when he was 17, is the worst vehicle he has ever owned. It didn't have a back seat. I drove it for 6 months and changed 4 or 5 quarts of oil every week. He laughs, but what happens when a passion for cars and interior design collide? Does horsepower show up in a house? Come study with us. When Rick Harrison of Pawn Stars opened the doors to his Red Rock Country Club home in Summerlin, he did more than just flaunt his opulent Las Vegas residence. It revealed a bit about the man. You can tell this isn't your typical high-end advertisement as soon as you enter the over 9,000 square foot house. Every area of the house reflects Harrison's interests and personality, particularly the ways he has personalized it. Much of it sprang from his passion for automobiles and his admiration for purpose-driven design. Harrison constructed more than just a garage with 11 cars. He owned a collection of 29 cars and referred to himself as a gearhead. His passion for vehicles is evident in the automotive-grade paint he used to decorate that room and other areas of the property. This high-performance industrial paint, which ranged in price from $500 to $1,500 per gallon, was used to paint the house's crown molding and numerous doors. Why? According to Harrison, automotive paint isn't limited to rich, vivid hues that ordinary paints can't match. It can manage the chaos that comes with having 6 children and numerous grandchildren in his situation. The automotive paint washes 100 times better, he stated. The sitting room adjacent to the formal dining room is one particularly noteworthy space. Its large Christopher Guy chairs and vivid green car paint make the fireplace stand out. It's audacious, practical, and reveals a lot about his preferences. Uncommonly practical and fashionable all at once. Saying, "It's Rick from Pawn Stars." And that's just what the house demonstrates. It's charming and not false. Harrison already had a sizable garage, but it was insufficient for his expanding automobile collection and his crafts. That restriction was a major factor in his decision to relocate. He recently purchased a 5-acre property in rural Clark County is his ideal residence. Additionally, he wants to construct a 4,000-square-foot garage to better accommodate his expanding projects and hobbies. At the Red Rock house, the HOA's options were limited. "The HOA is not big on me welding and having a million machines in my garage," he stated. It was a clue that there was more to his garage than just parking. It was for heavy-duty jobs like welding, construction, and machinery that required more flexibility than a posh neighborhood could offer. The value of this home extends beyond its upscale features and amenities for those who wish to purchase it or simply view it. They will also appreciate the quality and consideration that went into the adjustments. Harrison did more than simply make his house seem nice. In order to accommodate a busy, versatile lifestyle, he used premium materials and a craftsman's taste when designing the house. Everything was carefully considered, from the spacious garage to the durable automobile finishes. The house stands out from other upscale houses thanks to its distinctive blend of style, function, and personal investment. This house has a narrative and was built by someone who values both speed and heart. When a garage is used for purposes other than parking, what does it look like? 11 cars in Rick Harrison's garage are more than simply a statistic. It strikes a thoughtful balance between individual interests, lifestyle requirements, and future planning. The garage also demonstrates the conflict between ambition and space constraints, while being a part of his 8,845-square-foot luxury residence in Red Rock Country Club. Harrison actually realized that his expanding array of interests required more space than even this large edifice could provide. One helpful feature that is frequently overlooked is the temperature control in this garage. Controlling the temperature is a need for any serious vehicle collector in a desert climate like Las Vegas, where extreme heat may harm paint, batteries, and car interiors. This demonstrates that the space was designed to maintain Harrison's collection's quality and quantity throughout time. It demonstrates that you are considering the future and keeping an eye on the upkeep of expensive or vintage vehicles. It's intriguing that Harrison doesn't believe he should keep his belongings in the garage. Not long ago, he purchased a on a 5-acre ranch property in the Northwest Valley of unincorporated Clark County. He plans to construct a 4,000-square-foot garage. This is a significant improvement that demonstrates the size of his collection and the amount of goods he already owns. This design also demonstrates a shift in people's lifestyles. He said that relocating to an area with less stringent homeowner associations, HOAs, would enable him to engage in more of his industrial pastimes, such as heavy mechanical work and welding. This demonstrates that his new room will be used for more than just storage. It will probably become a workshop area that he uses on a daily basis. He keeps a number of different tools and machines in the shed in addition to the cars. Harrison's quip about needing space for a million machines demonstrated how this garage has been used as an industrial playground, a location to work on machines, and Harrison's personal museum. The garage's connections to the rest of the house are one intriguing feature. Unlike many upscale garages that are hidden or added as an afterthought, Harrison's garage is integrated into the overall architectural narrative of the house. The property has a wine cellar, a gym, unique rooms, and even a 12-seat theater. Additionally, there is a garage, which is a necessary and practical component of the house rather than an outbuilding. The fact that there is a lot of welding and machinery indicates that Harrison and the original builders or renovators collaborated closely on the design, perhaps paying particular attention to issues like power, access, and noise insulation. What is the secret urge that keeps Rick Harrison's head going when the cars and garage lights are off? We'll let you know. Inside Rick Harrison's garage, the sounds of ancient chrome and tools that tell tales of restoration and affection are loud and gleaming. If you look inside his thoughts, you might be surprised to see what motivates him when the wrenches are put away. Less evident than his passion for horsepower and valves is Harrison's interest in history. There was more than the regal talk of castles and kings. There was also the grim, unvarnished, and occasionally unsettling reality of ordinary people's lives in the past. Like some people who watch TV series all at once, Harrison frequently reads novels all at once. He frequently recommends Ian Mortimer's The Time Traveler's Guide to Medieval England. The book dives straight into the heart of daily living in the 1400s rather than being a dry study. Harrison is at the correct spot there. It's a book about the private lives of common people, he stated. And not in the clean way that Hollywood might show it. Oh, life was awful back then, he continues, hiding his horror with a grin. He beams as he describes how people in the Middle Ages slept, cooked, and even had sex outside in one-room houses that were built on top of one another. He claimed that everyone slept in one long room. Harrison adores the candor of those difficult times. That was luxury. If you were very wealthy, you might have one wall blocked off in another room. There were no pipes, no insulation, no walls, just a fire pit in the center of the space. The walls had gone black from soot. They made lights out of tallow, which is converted animal fat. He added, they smelled bad. To a man who now lives in a world of slick vehicles, air-conditioned sheds, and car paint, it was real, filthy, challenging, and fascinating. His passion for historical details is much akin to his passion for automobiles. I'm drawn to both because I enjoy creating things. I'm curious about how people lived in the past, and I want to preserve artifacts from the past, whether it's a dilapidated history book or a restored 1940 Chevy. Harrison might read about old peasants boiling roots over smoky hearths instead of torque specs on one page, and then be covered in oil on another. That might be the idea. Rick Harrison is not merely a vehicle collector and TV personality. He enjoys monitoring the time. He searches for treasures in the silence of his pawn shop and revives antique tools in his garage. What sort of vehicle may appeal to a man who enjoys both modern, high-powered vehicles and vintage vehicles? One foot on the gas pedal, the other in the 1400s. To find out, stay with us. Rick Harrison has always had a deep passion for automobiles and history. He is pleased to report that the 2018 Ford F-150 Raptor, which he drove every day, receives 10 stars. Harrison appreciates that it has a locking rear differential, decent suspension, and high ground clearance, all of which are essential for the 5 months he spends living off the grid in the Oregon forests. I've had it going 70 miles per hour through the desert, he continues. It's a beast. It can hit 50 and keep going without stopping. For Harrison, it's more than simply a truck. It keeps you alive. When he is moving dead trees or traveling along rugged logging roads, it is simple to tow, haul, and drive on uneven terrain. Although he adores the truck, he jokes that the side mirrors frequently fold inadvertently while he's driving because the button to activate them is in an awkward location. I go to roll down the window, hit the wrong button, and suddenly my mirrors fold in on the freeway, he continues. It's roughly 8 inches wider than a typical truck, which makes parking in cities difficult, he adds, joking that it's like navigating a duel. Harrison's favorite vehicle is the 1940 Chevrolet Special Deluxe that he had customized, despite his deep affection for the Raptor. For 12 years, this car has been a project. It sports a cut-off canopy, air suspension, and an alone engine. It's the fat-fendered, low-slung car that brought back memories of Hot Wheels and vintage cartoons to his childhood dreams. Harrison appreciates pre-World War II automobile design, particularly the elegance and craftsmanship of automobiles built in the 1930s and 1940s, which he believes were far more fashionable than those built now. Cars had a lot of style back then, according to him. He also owns a flawless 1966 Imperial Crown convertible in his garage that he inherited from his father, saying, they were works of art, not just appliances. Only 600 were produced at the time, and it was more expensive than a Rolls-Royce. This 20-foot-long, 6,000-pound convertible is a priceless relic of his father's past. Harrison claims that operating it is similar to operating a boat, although he only does it at parades and other noteworthy occasions. However, he continues to treasure it as one of his most valuable possessions. Harrison's first automobile, the Volkswagen Thing, holds a special place in his heart. It was his calm and patient mother who taught him to drive that car, not his father. Because the thing was originally intended to be a military utility vehicle, it was exclusively offered for sale in the United States. As a 2-year safety precaution. Harrison eventually located and set up another one, bringing back fond boyhood memories. He also fixed up a VW thing that his History Channel pals gifted him. He says it's a lot of fun and impossible to destroy, so he keeps it at his ranch in Oregon and drives it around beaches and sand dunes. One of his favorite road excursions since he was a boy was to Duck Creek Village, Utah, in the original VW thing, which lacked a heater and a roof. He still takes solo road trips today. He only has a hammock in the open road when he camps in Northern California. For Harrison, automobiles are more than just a means of transportation. They reveal a great deal about his life, hobbies, and willingness to try new things. What does a man like Rick Harrison develop when there are no more roads? In today's digital environment, misinformation travels more quickly than the truth, but one extremely odd story grabbed everyone's attention online. According to AI-generated clickbait headlines and viral videos, Rick Harrison, the well-known face of Pawn Stars, was apprehended by the FBI, sentenced to life in prison, and raided. The story sounded pretty dramatic based on the reports. He is accused of tax evasion, money laundering, and even selling stolen cultural artifacts, and his Las Vegas property has hidden rooms. The recordings were viewed by millions of people, and their attention was further heightened by startling thumbnails that featured Harrison being carried away in handcuffs or wearing orange jail outfits. But there was one problem. It was completely untrue. Fact-checkers at Yahoo, Snopes, and U.S. Prison Guide swiftly discredited the story. There was no official charges, no evidence of an FBI raid, and ultimately no courtroom spectacle that resulted in a life sentence. A Department of Cultural Heritage protection that does not exist in the United States is discussed in these movies. Most significantly, it was demonstrated that the images were artificial intelligence, AI, fakes that were purposefully deceptive to generate clicks and ad revenue. Rick Harrison was quietly working on something far more significant and real while this made-up narrative was causing a stir online. He was building his ideal garage. Not any garage, mind you. It took years to complete this job. A fully customized, state-of-the-art mechanical sanctuary designed to serve as an ever-evolving creative and restoration workshop in addition to being a place to park cars. Rick has always loved all things mechanical, and the garage is a very personal tribute to that devotion. In Las Vegas, it's hidden away. The creator appears to have ambitious intentions for it. Harrison can easily operate on rare vintage automobiles and classic muscle cars thanks to his numerous car lifts. Bodywork and elaborate construction are made possible by specialized welding chambers. Even the most delicate antique parts and interiors are kept in great condition by the climate-controlled garage. Every square inch of the space is designed to support both fine artistry and labor-intensive mechanical operations, from the precise tool stations to the industrial lighting. This garage is more than simply a marvel of technology, though. Harrison also finds solace there following the passing of his son Adam in 2024. This location became a haven for healing and escape from sadness and the outside world when someone overdosed on fentanyl. When he is by himself with tools and pressure, he finds calm, concentration, and a sense of purpose. It's not simply a house in this garage. It's an indication of power. Every bolt, weld, and design element is the result of Rick's unwavering dedication. A temple for restoration, where time slows down and long-lost parts of history come roaring back to life is what fans and friends who have seen early sneak glimpses have described. According to Rick, the garage might even be the backdrop for a future story in the form of a documentary series, radio feature, or news show. But for the time being, it's a secure location where history is not only examined but also restored, one vintage vehicle at a time. Therefore, the next time you scroll past a startling report like Rick Harrison receiving a life sentence, give it some serious thought. In a garage filled with memories, machines, and the sound of hopes being resurrected, that's the only sentence he's truly living. One of love and determination. If you were as shocked by Rick Harrison's garage as we were, please click the bell, like, and subscribe so you don't miss any more. Thank you for watching this video.